This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Young Jarek would love to take my order.
Hi.
He works at the coffee shop just up the street.
Morning.
He's happy and annoying with a smirk the size of Texas. He's my coffee enemy.
Would you like a mochaccino? Or perhaps a cappuccino? Or maybe a frappuccino?
Said Jarek wearing the chinos. All I really want is a cup of coffee. So strong the spoon stands up, just a cup of coffee. All I really want is a cup of coffee. Give me a friggin' cup of coffee, Jarek.
Aurora PetSmart.
Hi, I was in your establishment a few days ago. I bought a goldfish for myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I took it home, I really felt this beautiful connection with it. Its eyes. It was its eyes. It reminded me of my mother. My mother had bug eyes just like that fish did. It's been swimming at the top of the bowl for the last 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's not touching any of the food. I gave it, the fish food. I gave it some of my fish sticks. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just floating at the top. I think my goldfish may have expired. Is that something that you'd be able to help me with?
So as long as you have the receipt, you do have 14 days to bring it back.
Do you need all of the scales still intact for the fish to be returned with the receipt? The scaly skin? It has weird skin. We have hair on our arms, but they have scales on their arms.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you resell them afterwards?
Usually not.
But I'm wondering, I might have bought it. Is that possible?
It is possible, yes.
Do you usually tie string around the body and tape it to the side of the bowl? That's how I bought it.
That doesn't sound familiar, no.
I think somebody was trying to let fishy puppet show, and then it got a little messy, and they just kind of put it back on the shelf. It had a sticker on it.
Oh, yeah.
$5, and I just walked out of the store.
All right, bye-bye.
Hi, hello, Coffee Nation, and welcome to episode 26 of the Coffee and Friends podcast. I'm your host, Carl Coffee. With me once again is my sidekick, Tim Ike Anderson. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Carl?
With us once again is third-time guest, Rick. Don't call me Ricky Mathews. How are you, Ricky?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good.
Tim here at the CuffTimeUSA.NOM.co studio. Rick via Skype in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Coffee Wheels Podcast, part of Two Networks, the Overtime Sports Network. You can check them out at otsportsnetwork.com or at Twitter @_TSN. And also the Detroit Sports Podcast Network, Tim. What? You can check them out at DetroitSportPodcast.com or Twitter @Detroit Podcast. This episode is called The Ultimate Team Name Battle Tournament Sweet 16. We're down to 16 competitors, 4 in each sport. After today, there will be 8 left. Our show's broken up into 5 segments. Tim, we got Song of the Week, Stump the Expert, Timmy's Worst of the Week, Oh Hey Rick, and of course, the Battle Tournament. Rick, have you ever pooped in the shower?
No. What? No, I can legitimately say
a shower shit?
No.
Your voice is getting have you ever had you knew you had diarrhea, you're in your college dorm, so you didn't really care about pooping in the shower because it's not like a home you own? And you just did it?
Sure.
You just did it because you're curious?
No. My college dorm was my parents' house, so no, I did not shit in the dorm shower.
Yeah.
No, I've never done that.
Me neither.
Yeah. Are you sure? I mean, the fact it was on the tip of your tongue and you're asking, we have to assume that this has happened at some point in your past.
Moving on. So Chris Davis has been slumping, Tim. I played wiffle ball with you. We used to play tennis ball, home run derby. We like the bat and ball games. Rick won't say anything here because he doesn't play baseball. But if I gave you 47 Major League plate appearances, even though Chris Davis is 0 for 47, he's had some longs, we'll just say 47 plate appearances. Do you get a hit? Do you get one hit, out of luck?
I would probably get one hit and then stop immediately. But I have a very special message for Chris Davis. It's okay, Chris. It happens to everybody. I'm reminded of a quote from American cinema. You can do it! And if you can't, just remember, you are butt fucking rich.
Yeah, $167 million, I think his contract was.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And he plays for a team with no pressure, and they're pretty good early, even though everyone thought they'd go like 2-160. Like everyone's like, there's a team not going to win many games. But how dare Rick accuse me of pooping in the shower? Like, who does he think he is? Like, if I knew I had diarrhea and I was sick of wiping and I was in the college dorms and I picked a shower with good water pressure, you don't think I would do that?
Have you ever pooped and then showered? It is horrendous. It is the worst.
Wait.
No, Rick's out of line here. We got to move on. Okay. Can we move on, Rick? Or are you gonna?
I mean, did you have to step it into the drain? You just left.
I don't know. I've never done it. Anyways,
There to sit and stew.
So there's a lot of talk about Michael Jackson.
Please get in there. Please.
This summer will be his 10-year reunion of dying. So that's pretty cool.
Is it his memoriam?
And a lot of people are like pissed off because they realize, okay, maybe he was a molester of children, but gosh darn it, did he not sing some good songs? And my favorite Michael Jackson song, and you could agree or disagree, and if you disagree, you're wrong. It's "Man in the Mirror."
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Oh, Man in the Mirror.
But the song of the week is actually, it's a cover from James Morrison, and the Man in the Mirror acoustic. Dude, it's going to be good. It's playing in the background right now because we have a great podcast editor who puts in that kind of stuff.
That guy should get a raise, Carl.
So that's the song of the week.
Or girl.
Everyone agrees with it.
Possibly genderless.
So since we have only since we only have 8 matchups for the Ultimate Team Battle Tournament, and our other main segment's kind of short, we're bringing back Stump the Expert, Tim. We haven't done it in a while. Get off your phone, you millennial. I'm just kidding.
Fine.
Anyways. So, I asked Rick, what kind of topic can we do? And he's like, I don't care. Don't bother me. I'm too busy pooping in the shower. And I said, how about Blake Griffin? Because I've been in the fantasy league forever with Rick, and he's always had Blake Griffin.
Let's be careful, Carl. You know, your fans appreciate how much we talk about fantasy. Be careful.
He's always had Blake Griffin, Russell Westbrook. It's been his boys.
Yep.
And I just want to know if you really love Blake Griffin, or you're just a surface fan. You ready? Are you ready for the question?
I'll give it my best shot.
All right, here we go. How far did Blake Griffin go in his first year with Oklahoma? And what I mean by this is, how far did he go in the NCAA tournament?
Oh,
yeah, I know you don't follow college basketball.
I
But
don't.
There's a first round, there's a second round, there's a Sweet 16, there's an Elite Final Four and a championship game. How far did he go?
I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. This might be a trick question, and maybe he wasn't even...
No, not tricky.
No, he
I'll
played.
just say... Okay, I'll say second round.
Fuck you. He's cheating again. That's why you took him out of the Throne of Awesome. Because he cheated. He cheated again.
No, he got removed from the Throne of Awesome.
I heard him
because our
ask...
listeners.
He asked
all over
Alexia.
him.
I heard him ask Alexia.
Alexia. There we go.
Alexia is my niece. Yeah, my niece.
I know, Alexia.
Alexa, how far did Blake Griffin go in the first year with Oklahoma? Rick, he went to the second round and lost to number 3 seed Louisville. So once again,
That was a shot in the dark.
I mean, you had like a 1 in 5 or 6 chance, sir. So good job. In his, he came back his second
Let me
year.
close my Google window really quickly.
So he was playing with his brother. I don't know if you knew that. His brother was 2 years older, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why he came back for a second year, because Blake Griffin really had no business coming back to college. He was that good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back his sophomore year, play with his older brother, who was horrible, and he made the Sweet 16 that year. But good job, Rick. I wasn't able to stump you. And everyone listening, I've gotten 3 calls saying Rick cheated again. Can you believe this?
I'm not surprised.
Like,
the same people probably shit on him last time.
And Twitter's, I can't believe Twitter's up in arms right now. They're like, how could you let this cheater on? Can you believe this?
They don't want to be made out to be a shower shitting, dump the expert cheating villain here. I don't understand what's happening.
What was it? A wet shit, Rick, or was it a solid shit? Because now I'm interested. Now I'm invested.
So you have like a, you ate something in the cafeteria that gave you diarrhea, and
so you're peeing out your butt.
All right, so let's go.
See, I commuted to school. I do know that Carl was living on campus, probably participating in cafeteria lunches very often. Again, the evidence is piling up, Carl.
All right,
let's hear it.
We're moving on
tell us what happened.
We're moving on to a segment called Timmy's Worst of the Week. It's been a staple for the last 5 or 6 shows. Usually, Timmy's Worst of the Week is something really stupid, Rick, and we bash him for it. We tell him he's off. He has no business being on a podcast. But I got a sneak preview of this, and I told him, I'm not even going to bash this. I'm probably going to praise this. But he could make a fool of himself still. So do you trust him?
Well, I want to hear it.
All right.
Let's do it.
It's your floor.
The worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible. But thank you. It means a lot. The worst in the world.
Gentlemen, I would like to discuss Magic Johnson stepping down as president and what it does. This does one thing. This opens up the seat for LeBron. I mean, we all know he runs the team anyway. He might as well make him some GM and coach too. Because why pay those people if he's going to do all the work? I mean, seriously. I don't even understand. This is unequivocally the worst thing this week.
What was Will Ferrell's character in the movie with the Flint Tropics?
Yeah, he was the player.
Jackie Moon.
Owner,
Jackie Moon, yeah, he was the owner, player, coach. So
the dream.
LeBron's going to fight a bear pretty soon in the Staples Center?
Here's the thing, though.
God, I'd pay money for that.
Okay, LeBron is the coach. We know that. He is the coach without the title. And now...
Did we have a grizzly fight a person?
Here's the thing. they got that Rob Lowe lookalike as the quote-unquote GM. Obviously a good-looking guy who they say makes the decisions.
He's a good-looking guy.
But, I can't bash him for this. I think he's dead right, Rick.
Well, wait, but, I mean, you're saying that LeBron is the worst just by speculating?
I don't think he's saying LeBron's the worst. I think he's saying the Lakers are the worst, right?
No, the Lakers are the worst.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Lakers are the worst.
But the fact that
they screwed Magic like this.
The greatest point forward in the history of the NBA.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, by the time this episode releases, we'll probably have a little bit more information, but it seems like it was Magic's call that he just was getting tired of kind of like being swept up in all the executive issues that being in his position entailed, and he'd rather be like more of the ambassador. Kind of the fact that when he was talking to players and inviting players to kind of like the Ben Simmons thing earlier this year, and that's what he likes to do, and he's just getting like his wrist slapped every time he's trying to enjoy basketball. And,
Did you know that the Lakers are going to clean the house? They're going to fire their coach. They're going to fire their coaching staff.
He's
and everything.
gone, and they're probably going to bring in Tyrone Lue. Yeah. But listen, though, Tim has balls to do this because we are recording Tuesday. This is Tuesday, and the show usually comes out either Thursday or Friday. So to say this, literally like an hour after it was announced, it takes balls.
It's been an hour
because we don't know the truth. So Tim has balls to call out the Lakers. We don't know the truth. You don't call out Magic Johnson. He's a legend. He brought in LeBron. If you want to give him credit.
I believe Hollywood brought in LeBron.
Yeah,
Carl.
that's what I know.
It was.
Anyone probably could have been present, but we'll give him the credit. Luke Walton will be gone. LeBron will bring in coach he wants. It could be Tyronn Lue. Who cares? I like this. This is your best ever worst of the week, and I think Rick agrees, right, Rick?
I mean, I just hate the Lakers in general. I actually think in general this year have been just...
Can I say something, and then we'll end this segment? Is the next president of the Lakers going to be Kobe Bryant?
No.
Oh, well, that was...
He's not a LeBron guy.
That was anticlimactic. All right, so we're at our second to last segment called Oh Hey Rick. Didn't know what else to call it. Rick's been on this show a few times.
Oh, hey, Rick.
A couple weeks ago, he was number 1 in the Throne of Awesome
guys.
rankings, and then all of a sudden he's off it. But he has a chance to redeem himself.
Power rankings make no sense.
Tim's all over the place there, but Rick is an NBA guy, and he's also a wrestling guy. So we have people who come on. Like when I want to talk baseball, we put on Steve Harris, right? If I want to talk about nonsense, I put on Hollister. But I want to talk about basketball or wrestling, we put on Rick. We just had WrestleMania and the NBA playoffs are
Don't forget about Bret Hart.
a couple days away. So I have some hard-hitting questions. And Tim, you can chime in if you want. I don't know. Do you even follow the NBA, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay. Rick really does. So, Rick, here we go. 16 teams in the NBA playoffs, right? I think 15 of them are locked in, and it's either going to be Pistons or Hornets for the last spot. Who cares, though?
Go Kemba.
I go, all right. You got $1,000.
Hey.
I hand you $1,000, Rick, okay? And you have to bet either on the Warriors or the field. Who do you take, and why?
Warriors.
Yeah, you didn't even think about that. I mean, of course. I would, too. I mean, of course.
I mean,
they say you take the field.
playoffs are
Logic
very
says
long.
the field, but here.
I mean, anything can happen over the course of the playoffs, and Steph could miss some time, and Clay could miss some time. That could really change the dynamic of the playoffs. But we got 5 healthy All-Stars in that starting lineup.
Yeah.
They could go 16-0.
5 healthy All-Stars, maybe 4 or 5 healthy Hall of Famers. In any other sport, I never do this. Even with the Patriots, I don't take one team. You take the field. You always take the field, right, Tim? But with this, he's right.
I would take the field.
Who's beating them?
Oh, I could see the Bucks.
No experience.
I could see something shocking coming out of the West, like Oklahoma City.
The only team that can match up with them is probably the Rockets, but I don't see it.
The Rockets could legitimately, if they get to like 7 games, they could probably. I mean, they pretty much had them last year.
Yeah.
And they're walking in with almost the same team. They were going to take a dip defensively, but they ended up being pretty much this exact team they were last year.
So me and you say Warriors, and Tim says field, and Tim's just losing $1,000. Warriors will win their 4th title in 5 years, but it's done after it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Durant's
The
gone.
dynasty is
Cousins
over.
was just a
It has to
Cousins
be.
was just a 1-year thing, anyways. So, but yeah, Durant in New York apparently, probably most likely.
He's just there for some jewelry, right?
If they can maintain a big 3, if Draymond stays,
These guys
I think
want.
the
They all
Warriors
want it.
still
They all want to get paid.
favorites.
They want to get paid, and they want to be centerpieces. And thank you. The NBA is going to be good again because there's going to be more variety after this year. Thank you.
You know, my first appearance at the beginning of the NBA season, I said I'm still very excited for the season, but I have to admit,
No,
it's kind of hard. It is kind of hard to get up.
I'm going to give you
2 games per team when you know the.
I'm going to tell you something, and you got to agree or disagree, yes or no. Warriors go 16-2 in the playoffs. Agree or disagree?
16-2 is fair. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the potential for 16-0 is definitely on the table. But 1 to the Rockets, and then 1 to the Raptors, Celtics, whoever.
That's right.
Bucks, whoever comes out of the East.
I think there was 1 year. I think the Lakers went 16-1 1 year. They're not. They're close to that, but
that was the Sixers.
Yeah. Anyways, here we go. I have 3 more questions. This one's good. I debated it with our good friend Ryan the Keith earlier. He has Harden, and I was like, not so fast, my friend, not so fast. It's the MVP. And there was times where there's other people in the mix, kind of guys like Paul George, maybe even LeBron, like 4 or 5 months ago. But it's down to 2 guys. It's Giannis or Harden. You take away either of them, and their teams are just bleh. No. All right, let's have Rick talk about this, and then you could chime in. Who's the MVP, Rick? I respect your decision here. Give me your reason.
About a week and a half ago, it was going to be very hard to convince me against Giannis. But Harden has been doing some record-setting stuff this year. That streak of like all the 30 straight 30-point games or whatever. His scoring average. He is having a season on par with Michael Jordan. He's having a Michael Jordan-esque season this year. I actually probably would go with James Harden now. Mind over like the last week and a half.
That is a hot take.
Keep going.
That's the thing. There's the two thoughts. There's best player on the best team. That's Giannis. To the number one team, and Giannis is hands down the best player on that team. Take Giannis off the Bucks, and they suck.
Yeah.
Take Harden off the Rockets. They still have Chris Paul. They're still potentially a playoff team.
Maybe.
But I mean, the same argument for why I was backing Russ when he the MVP. It's hard to argue with the storyline for the season. It's hard to argue with the record-setting numbers. I'd have to go with James Harden, and it kind of breaks my heart to go with it, but Harden MVP this year.
And I think he's going to win. Not sure if I like it. He doesn't play defense.
Giannis is a much better player.
But Harden might be the best offensive player in the history of the NBA. Yes, he may be the best offensive player in the history of the NBA. Think about it.
The same guy who scored 9 points in the All-Star game.
He certainly...
Who cares about that?
He certainly found a niche. He's found his little pocket. He has learned to explore roles that nobody's figured out for like 30 years or whatever.
I just want it to be close. I just want it to be close, Rick. You get what I'm saying?
The MVP race, you mean?
Yeah, I want it to be close. I do.
This is gonna be. I mean, like I said, I was back in Giannis for pretty much the entire year, and the thing about Giannis and the fact that he's gonna be MVP for years to come is that he's kind of bucking the trend where James Harden is living in the modern NBA, where you have to live at the 3-point arc, and then just get to the line. Giannis is the complete opposite player, and he's still just as, if not more, successful than every other player on the floor.
The trend, no pun intended,
wow.
that he plays for the Bucks.
Look at that.
Put
me back on the throne of awesome.
I just remember a time where there was these cities that I was like, these cities will never be good again. Who would ever play for Milwaukee, or who would ever play for Sacramento, or who would ever play for Detroit? But he is making Milwaukee a destination. There's even rumors that they might get Anthony Davis when he's a free agent, because it's like these people want to win.
Crazy.
And what Giannis is doing there is what he's going to win an MVP, probably multiple, but probably not this year. Good answer, Rick. I think Harden probably deserves it, but he deserves it like 65-35%. Like it's close-ish, right?
That maybe.
You think?
Even 55-45.
So, Giannis is averaging 27.7 points per game, 12.5 boards, 5.9 assists, and a block and a half. That said, Harden, who's a point guard, is averaging 36.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, and six assists. It's a toss-up. I myself would rather have Giannis. I think the Heat has pieces without Harden, and I think without Giannis, the Bucks might be like a 9 or 10.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
There's that Greek bias.
One more NBA question, all right, Rick? We're Eastern Conference guys. We're from Detroit, and I just remember just when the Pistons were good, it's like, all right, pencil them into the Eastern Conference Finals, which they did for 6 straight years. And then when LeBron was good, he got to 8 straight NBA Finals. It was just a cakewalk. The Eastern Conference Finals were boring for, how far can we go? We might go back 18 years. I don't know how far we have to go.
We could talk about that. That's something I disagree with. But I'm sorry, continue.
No, how do you disagree with that? The Eastern Conference playoffs hasn't been excited for like 20 years.
The Eastern Conference has always been pretty good, though.
Okay, sorry.
That's the thing, because the Pistons were... Yeah, okay.
Maybe I worded
Finals
wrong.
has always been good.
The Eastern Conference playoffs haven't been exciting for maybe 20 years.
I agree with you on that.
If I said finals, I'm sorry.
The Eastern teams are just weaker.
But here we are now. So the first time since maybe like 1998, I don't even know how long it has been, I think the Eastern Conference players might be just as or even more exciting than the West. That's my opinion. LeBron's gone and is open. Well, let's see how Rick feels. He's our NBA guy.
He is.
And I'm serious, Rick. I don't know the last time I've been excited for the Eastern Conference playoffs. And you're right. Yeah, the Eastern Conference Finals was a toss-up for many years, but the playoffs, have been very, very boring. I remember
the slog to get there. Yeah.
The Celtics once got in, and they were 10 games under 500. It was ridiculous. So here we go. Here's the question. And I'm known for the longest questions. Like this question, I've been talking for a minute. But are you more amped for the conference playoffs than the West this year?
Well, of course, the people who will hear this episode, they'll know for sure what happened. But depending on if the Pistons are in the playoffs, then I'm biased and I'm more excited for the East. But off the table, there are much more compelling matchups in the East. If the West is the foregone conclusion that we all assume it is, and the Warriors are just going to skate all the way to the finals, then who really cares who ends up being across the way for the finals? But in the Western Conference finals. But we got Milwaukee, Toronto, Philadelphia, and Boston all in the top 4 seeds in the East. All have a legitimate shot to represent the East in the finals, and it's just a very interesting and compelling the way it's going to shake out. I guess
you 100% nailed it.
Those teams are going to advance. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you nailed it. I'm sorry to interrupt, but those years where, we can go into eras. We can go as far back as when the Lakers, Kings, the Suns competed. Then you can go in the Mavs when they were legit. Even those years when the Clippers were good. Like the West the Western Conference playoffs were it, man. There was even the first round was entertaining. And now it's like you can pencil in pretty much Warriors, maybe Rockets, but the East has 4 teams. And I would never bet on any 4 of them because they all have a legit chance. Any 4 teams could win the East. And you agree, Yep. And that's good insight there. That's why I think the East is way more exciting this year. And it was like I was saying earlier, and I might have questioned it wrong, but yeah, for the first time in I don't know how long, these conference playoffs are actually exciting. Because who knows who's going to win.
I did want to just say that, when we're the last 20 years, probably the Eastern Conference first and second rounds have been a slog, and it's kind of pointless. But LeBron versus the Celtics, the Pistons versus Celtics, Pistons Heat,
Pacers,
those are all those are very Pistons Pacers. They've always been very compelling still in the East, where sometimes anytime LeBron matched up with the Celtics, I would put that up against any of the Western Conference matchups that were occurring at the same time. But in those eras as you were coming up, all 8 teams in the West were all legit. Like the Grizzlies were legit competition for a period of time, where they were upsetting the Spurs and stuff like that. The Thunder, the KD, Westbrook, Harden, Thunder when they were coming up. Yeah, West has always been more interesting for sure.
Yeah, anything to say, Tim? You want to move on?
No, I'm good.
All right, one last question, and I have a lot of Twitter people I follow who love WrestleMania.
Baby.
This is our period when I like WrestleMania. A lot of people on the OTSN, they love WrestleMania, Detroit Sports Podcast as well. And it's, I haven't followed it probably since the year 2000. It's been a long time.
98?
Yeah, it's been a long time. But, listen, man, I have to ask a wrestling fan. I love the Super Bowl. I love the first weekend of March Madness. I love the opening day of baseball. The Tigers are good. I love the first week of NFL. There's days that stand out. But where does WrestleMania rank in terms of your favorite sports days of the year?
Well, I wonder how many people would be very upset if I categorize it as a sports day.
It's a sports day.
Obviously, we all know it's not competition. But as far as the athletic,
wait. With ESPN, what E and ESPN stands for? Entertainment, right? All right, go on.
Personally, it's one of my favorite days of the year. Around it, I don't follow sports in general. Just NBA basketball and then professional wrestling. That just takes up my time right there. Those 2 quote sports. I love WrestleMania. WrestleMania. I heard statistic is the number 6 most valuable sport brand. Behind things like the Super Bowl. It's like it's ahead of March Madness or the NCAA championship even. WrestleMania as a brand is the 6th most valuable. People love their wrestling, man. fun. It's a fun time.
So what big happened this year? Did The Rock show up? Did John Cena show up? What happened? Because I don't know. I don't follow wrestling, but tell me something big happened that I would actually understand.
Something big that you would understand. John Cena showed up. He did his old rapper gimmick for a little bit. But that's the thing about wrestling. I mean, that's when you were watching it in the late 90s. It was kind of a circus side show back then, and obviously it was a lot of fun. Nobody's ever going to not say the Attitude Era, late early 2000s, was the best, most fun period of professional wrestling. But I argue that it's actually better now. As far as like the in-ring product and the athleticism that these guys are kind of putting forth on the TV every week, it's a better product now. So with that said, I mean, there's for the wrestlers right now, I'd start naming names that you wouldn't know and no idea who they are. But I mean, like Ricochet and Aleister Black, Kofi Kingston, who's our new WWE champion, Daniel Bryan. These guys put on amazing feats, and I think professional wrestling is the best it's ever been right now.
You should reach out to some of these wrestling shows we have on these networks. I think you'd be a good guest.
Yeah, our buddies the Mikes would probably like him.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of guys on the networks we're a part of.
What are those networks again, Carl?
The wrestling shows, the wrestling podcasts. It's crazy. I see the numbers. They're amazing. These wrestling fans who listen to podcasts, they listen religiously, and it's like, all right, a wrestling podcast, that's the way to go. All right, cool.
The thing is, when wrestling got big in the late, we're watching it. Everybody in our high school watched it from 98 to 99. Everybody was watching WWF.
Yeah, I was not a wrestling guy, and I loved it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is then like even playing field, even the nerds got to see. I was like all and something to talk. But then after the popularity waned, all of us nerds were sitting there like, now what do we do? So the nerds took over wrestling.
Yeah.
So the wrestling is like a pretty kind of now is the kind of thing. So all the big sweaty muscular guys, we don't really care about those guys. We want to see the actual athletes, and we're talking about the Shawn Michael Bret Hart mold that you might be familiar with. And guys that can do it. That's what makes it fun.
See, that's the difference between me and you. I like the guys with good mic skills, the entertainers.
And there are still plenty of guys that can light up a mic, but obviously we were spoiled with Steve Austin, and there's nobody that will ever touch those guys at their level. But it's still fun.
That's why I like the guy like Val Venus, because he was good on the mic, entertaining. I'm serious. Like The Rock and Stone Cold, they're level. But a guy like Val Venus, he knew what to say.
Hello, lady.
Good answers, Rick. All right. And now, here we go. Tim, we've had a fun podcast, a lot of segments. We talked about showering, pooping, man in the mirror.
At the same time.
Blake Griffin, for some reason.
Ginger Giant.
LeBron James and the Lakers.
Hashtag Jackie Mooney.
Golden State Warriors, MVP, Eastern Conference Playoffs, and WrestleMania. We've been all over the place. But is this the sports podcast? Because gosh, we've talked a lot of sports today.
We have. We've gone away.
So for like 8 years ago, we decided to start this tournament with 123 teams. And now we're down to 16. It's been a long ride, Tim. It's been painful.
It has been.
We've lost 32 of our loyal listeners.
And half of my friends.
And people say, we hate you for keeping this going. It's overplayed. End this nonsense. But did you see that other show on the OTSN copied us?
What?
They liked it so much, they put all the NHL playoff teams in a battle royale because they like wrestling and hockey.
That's garbage.
But they said, we took your idea. And I said, that's fine. Who cares? It's whatever.
Garbage.
So here's where we're at. There's four teams left in sports. So for the first time ever, we're not doing 16 matchups or whatever. It's only 8. So we can kind of play it out. We can go with history. Because when we get down to the final 8, we're going to have entrance music. We're going to go all out. So this is the last matchup before we get to the Elite 8. And Rick told me from the start, he takes this serious. He's into it.
I was there for it.
He's the one guy who's into this.
I'm loving it.
Thank God somebody is.
I live for this bullshit.
We got... Man, I'm not going to go through them all.
This is like a steaming bowl of malarkey.
I got all the brackets. I got how the teams got here. So let's paint the pictures. Here we go. Lion versus Buccaneer, and Rick. Here we go. Lion beat the Ram, the Falcon, the Redskin, and Buccaneer, they beat the Jaguar, the Chargers, and the Jets. Here we go. Lion versus a Buccaneer in a cage match. Who wins, Rick?
Apparently, so you're saying in that previous round that lion got a taste for the flesh of man. It took out the Native American.
Yes, after beating two birds.
Mascot.
Yes, after beating
Hashtag First Nations.
After beating a falcon and they beat a ram and a falcon. So they beat another mammal and a falcon, and then they beat a redskin, which has tools. You know, they have those things. Tomahawks. Yeah. Racist.
And that's the thing. I mean, look, you got to book it out a little bit. I mean, a buccaneer is a pirate, so it's not a sophisticated fighter or anything. I mean, if we're looking at like maybe a warrior or something down the line,
gosh darn well, a buccaneer's never seen a lion.
That's the thing, exactly. That lion. That's the thing. For a human lion, they have to have the first strike. A buccaneer is not skilled enough to get that first strike on a lion. Lion goes straight for the throat. Instant kill. Lion advances.
You know, I've always been a big proponent of human, but a buccaneer, they're tough. They're tough. They're tough shit on water. You better believe they're not going to ever encounter a lion on the water, right?
Did you guys know that buccaneers are actually famous for like smoking meat, like the cooks
of the pirates? You've really pussified them.
Well, thank you. What up, nerd?
Captain Jack Sparrow comes toe-to-toe with a lion. The lion's winning. And Twitter Nation agrees with you. 73%. The lion is our first team in the Elite Eight.
Lion would fuck that buccaneer to death, Carl.
And they're in the NFL championship. Thank you, Rick. Great insight.
Putting the Lions in a championship game.
I just didn't think the Buccaneer could get a shot off of his blunderbuss before.
This is the only way the Lion would ever make it this far.
And I didn't think the accuracy, you'd have to hit that right between the eyes, and there's not enough accuracy on it.
And it's a cannon with some nails in your hand. It just doesn't seem very safe.
The other two NFL teams are Titan and Viking. Two humans here, Tim. Titan has had quite the run. They had a tough first matchup. They knocked out Giant. They knocked out then Panther and then Patriot. So after beating Giant, they had two pretty easy matchups, I think. And here they are now against Viking, who they beat the Bill, not so tough. They also beat the Raven, also not so tough. And then they beat the not a really tough road. Raider, maybe so much.
I mean, they're the same thing.
But I forgot to paint a picture for you. Everyone kind of knows at this point. A Titan is a person of exceptional importance and reputation. And Viking, a pirate Norseman plundering the coast of Europe in the 8th to 10th centuries. Pretty much badasses. Living up in the cold back then. Good for them. But this is a coin flip matchup to me. What do you got, Rick?
Well, so that's the thing is with your definition of Titan, you're more like a Titan of industry, but not like the Clash of the Titan.
I've been fair. I just pick whatever the first definition is on Webster. It's to keep it fair.
But is it fair to say like a mythical Titan?
I mean, people can pick at that. I mean, I don't know.
That's where all us nerds tend to go with Rick.
Titans made a run.
That's what I've been kind of going with. I mean, the Viking. Honestly, the Viking doesn't belong in this company. It's pretty crazy that the Viking has got far. You can see why it was a cakewalk. We got pretty lucky. But now the Titan is going to put the Viking in its place, and the Titan advances. I don't really know what a Titan is. Did he step on him? Let's say he steps on him.
They used to be the Houston Oilers, then they moved to Tennessee. They're the Tennessee Oilers for 1 or 2 years. Mm-hmm. Remember the Titans was a big movie? And they said, hey, that's a pretty cool name.
Snatch that shit up.
Tennessee Titans, TT. That's a nice name. Let's do it. And then Twitter's like, all right, I agree. 67%. Rick is... Dude, last time Rick was on, I think he agreed with Twitter like 14 or 15 out of 16 times. Right, Rick?
Pretty much. Yeah, I did. But you were given the ahead of time back then.
Oh, so. Yes. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not just trying to win the popularity contest or anything. I'm voting for the Heart.
Titan has punched their ticket to the Elite Eight. They will play the Lion in the NFL Championship next week. Picker, TBD. Ready to move to the NBA, your favorite of the 4 leagues?
Here we go.
Ooh.
NBA.
Our 4 NBA teams, Warrior, Raptor, Magic, Rocket. Oh, this should be fun. Warrior, who they beat? Well, they beat those pussy Pelicans. That was easy.
Have you ever seen a Pelican, Carl? They are frightening.
Then they beat the pussy Hornets. Yes, Hornets are scary, but you can defeat them if you have that spray.
They kill me.
Doesn't take much. And then they beat the biggest Cinderella run I've ever seen, Thunder, in the 3rd round. Could you imagine playing the Thunder in the 3rd round? A noise? I can't believe the Thunder even got that far. Anyways, Warriors, pretty much what I'm saying is they've had a cakewalk. Anyways, they're playing the Raptor, which, oh my gosh, they beat a lot of good teams.
Nonsensically.
They beat the Clippers. That was easy. Then, in probably the biggest upset in the tournament, Rick, they beat the Wizards. And then they beat
Garbage.
the Heat.
Straight trash.
They beat the Heat and the
But
Wizards.
the Heat beat them.
So here we are. Warrior versus Raptor. Warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter, and a Raptor is a Trizomazoid dinosaur, especially a Velociraptor Raptor or something else I can't pronounce. You know what a Raptor is. Chris Pratt trains them.
The real one's not from Jurassic Park.
So we have a person versus a non-mammal. Go.
And that's the thing. I've been listening to this tournament for a long time.
Should I pour a shot?
You should.
I don't know why everybody thinks the Raptor is such a great.
Tim agrees with you.
dinosaur.
He calls them turkeys.
Yeah,
They're not
turkeys.
They're not that smart.
They beat the Wizard.
Barely opened the door. And we're talking about a single raptor, too. We're talking about a single raptor. A raptor is a pack animal. It hunts in a pack. We're talking about one single raptor. And if you remember, Muldoon in that first movie, he got that drop on that one single raptor. It's just the fact that he was hunted by the pack. With that said, the skilled warrior, the skilled killer, just like that Buccaneer Lion matchup, he will have one chance with a striking raptor to take one shot. The warrior is a fighter, and that shot will be true. He will finally end the story of the Raptor. Warrior advances.
You know, when I had you on, the Raptor was playing a Clipper, so that pick for you. And then our other,
I actually picked Clipper.
Are you serious?
I did. Yeah, I picked Clipper in that one.
The Raptors.
I have so little faith in the Raptor. That
The
I
Raptor,
picked a ship.
Raptor beating Wizard, I think, is the biggest upset we've had because I wanted to see what Wizard could do. But Twitter actually disagrees with you. They have Raptor 62%. Twitter loves the Raptor. I always do Tim first. So
He sure does. Yeah.
So actually, it's going to go to Tim. He is the third party.
Yeah, Warriors.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm pretty
There
sure
we go.
that a skilled warrior could take out something the size of a turkey.
I love the run the Raptor had. If it was on me, I would have kept it going. So now it goes to me for the next tiebreaker.
That's right, Carl.
And just I actually did have the Wizard. If I was going to pick this whole thing, Wizard would have been the ultimate champion in this whole thing.
Yeah,
Screw the Raptor for eliminating him.
I had either Wizard or Magic, I think.
I had something to do with the cosmos, a sun.
Astro.
I did at first.
Anyways,
I did at first, too.
so Warrior punches the third ticket to the Elite Eight. Oh, cool. They're awesome in real life and in this stupid tournament. Thanks a lot, Tim. For once, could you give something to the dinosaurs? They've had a tough run at things.
Well,
they're extinct.
Well,
they're dummies.
To be fair, that last matchup when they fought the Heat and won, yeah, in real life they fought the Heat and they did not win.
All right,
That's true.
Let's paint a picture for these next two competitors, Magic and Rocket. So Magic, they beat Net, then they beat Sun, which was the battle of the century. That second round battle, people were so pumped about it. Twitter was up in arms. I had people saying no one will ever beat the Sun, and then they got eliminated.
It was crazy, Carl.
So then after they beat the Sun, they had an easy matchup against the Buck.
How easy was it?
I mean, it was a walk. It was like 94%. And then Rocket, they've had a fun run. You know, they beat Spur, then they beat a Timberwolf, and then they beat a Grizzly. So they're knocking off mammals. And Easily got here. And everyone's like, there's a one-trick pony. You know, they have one shot to blow up the cage. And if they survive, they win. So here we are. Magic? It is the power of influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. In Rick, a rocket is a launch projectile propelled by the combustion of its contents. This is a fun matchup. Our last of the NBA, who moves on to the Elite Eight.
It would be nice if the rocket had a target to actually explode and take out. Magic being the concept of magical things. Magic would prevent the rocket from combusting. How? I don't know. It's magic. It's freaking magic. Magic advances. Bye-bye rocket.
You know, Twitter was kind of close, but 64% said Magic. So we're agreeing.
Mm-hmm.
Magic moves on. It's going to be Magic versus Warrior in the NBA. Final matchup. Congratulations. Four more matchups.
Did we just call the real NBA playoffs? Is it going to be Warriors versus Magic?
Could you imagine that?
Go Vucevic.
If the Magic came out of the East. All right. Moving to MLB. All right. I got it. Angel versus Diamondback. We got a snake versus an angel, which we all know. Tim reads the Bible.
Yeah. I mean, are we talking Zazel or are we talking St. Michael? You know
so Diamondback has had a pretty decent, easy run. They beat a Padre, which is... those don't fight back. Then a Brave.
They just rape.
And then a Mariner.
Oh, boy.
Angel beat a Philly, an Athletic, and the Rocky Mountains, which is a huge win. People think the Angels have magical powers. I thought that was controversial. The Rocky Mountains, you know how big those are? So here we are now. A Diamondback versus an Rick. The Diamondback is a large North American rattlesnake with diamond-shaped markings, and an angel is a spiritual being believed to act as an attendant or messenger of God. Well, that's big. Represented in human form with wings and a long robe. We all have seen how we, draw angels. But do they have the powers to beat a snake?
Are we talking about those little baby Greek angels, or are we talking like Azazel and stuff like that?
This is very close on Twitter, Rick. Who do you got?
Well, I am a firm believer in heavenly creatures and the Father above. I do believe that angels have special abilities that we don't really fathom. But they also have wings. So they just pick up the little snake, fly up as high as they can, and drop that sucker to the ground.
Ooh.
The angel is glory be to thee.
Diamondback had a pretty good run. They beat 3 straight humans, which I was kind of against. I mean, they beat a Padre, a Brave, and a Mariner. I mean, come on. You think at
that
some...
That is just waiting to happen, Carl.
You think at some point... one of them.
Isn't that how the...
But yeah, okay.
This sounds like a punchline.
Angel won 54%. It was close, but good job, Rick. Angel moves on. We might have a potential Angel versus Devil match.
I know, I can't wait.
I'm hoping for it.
But he wasn't. He was an
angel.
angel.
Don't want to influence.
He was an angel.
All right.
That's right.
Our second MLB matchup is Dodger versus Astro. And Tim, Dodger has to be the weakest competitor left in this thing. Maybe either Oiler or Dodger, right?
No, he's a trickster. So technically, he's one of these existential creatures.
So Dodgers, they beat the Yankee, of course. Then they beat a Cub, of course. And then they beat a Giant, which was a big upset, in my opinion. Astro, they beat a National, of course. A Royal, of course. And an Indian, of course. Astros had a cakewalk here. So, Rick, you ready? A Dodger is a person who engages in cunning tricks or dishonest practices to avoid something unpleasant. And an Astro is a combining form with a meaning pertaining to stars or celestial bodies. This is quite the matchup. Who do you got? They just played in the World Series a couple years ago.
Yeah, that Dodger had a real plucky run, and I can't believe... could you imagine if I put Dodger over Astro right now?
Yeah,
Astro.
Decided on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Dodger made it this far, but Angel...
This is insane.
Angel versus Astro is going to be a fun matchup next week. Yeah, 79%. Twitter says Astro. All right, we're moving along. The tiebreaker is on me. If it gets to me, we got 2 more matchups, Rick. We're going to the NHL.
I can have my dream matchup, Carl.
And it's going to be Oiler versus Lightning. Let me look at this NHL bracket. Oiler is one of those teams that had a bye. Actually, they were the only team in the NHL that had a bye. And then they beat the Canadian, and then they beat the Jet. Quite the run. Lightning, they beat Panther. Okay, I get it. Blackhawk, I get it. And a Golden Knight. So they beat an animal and 2 humans. All right, Rick. I know there's a person who oils machinery. Well, that's exciting. And a lightning, an electrostatic discharge that occurs usually during a thunderstorm. That's a weird cage match, right? Who wins?
Well, like I was saying with that line before, it's pretty much there's one shot to stop this creature or act of nature from striking and killing you. It's not going to happen. You're not faster than lightning. The lightning is going to strike the oil, and it's going to be a grisly and gruesome death when that oil sparks up and ignites, and we see this poor man running around in flames until he no longer moves. And it's sick. It's disgusting. And he advances.
Your dreams have ended.
My dream matchup has ended.
But, Rick, 91% of Twitter agrees. So good job. You get it. Tiebreaker falls on me for this last match. Let's to it. But Rick has been, he's been right with Twitter Nation, right, Tim?
It's like he has Google open or something.
This is a fun matchup, actually.
It's like I'm cheating.
Your words.
Devil versus Flame. This is going to get hot.
That's what she said.
Devil beat the weak Islander, and then they upset Star. A Star? Are you kidding me? And then they easily beat the Blue Jackets, which shouldn't be far. Flame beat Avalanche. They melted the Avalanche. They melted the Canuck, and they melted a Bruin. Devil versus Flame. It's going to get hot, Rick. Who wins? The Devil is the chief evil spirit, aka Satan, and the Flame is a hot glowing body of ignited gas that is generated by something on fire. You get it. Who wins?
Mm-hmm. Well, as you all know, I am a firm believer in the creatures of the depths of hell.
Oh.
All glory be to Beelzebub. Hail Satan.
That just happened. Have you listened to Ghost? Let me tell you about Ghost.
The devil is, of course, he can control flame. So, and he is not hurt by flame. So, devil advances over flame.
And Twitter agrees, 83%. We only have to go to tiebreaker once. Rick Mathews, right with Twitter. Are you ready to hear the Elite Eight, Rick and Tim?
I sure am.
Yeah, I want to hear these matchups.
All right, we got Lion, Titan, Warrior, Magic, Angel, Astro, Lightning, Devil. Let's see, we get a cat, a human, magic powers. We have an angel. We got Astro, Lightning, and Devil. So we got a couple of biblical things. Animal,
Summer Castle,
electricity. It's a toss.
On one side of the bracket, you could have a lion versus a warrior. And on the other side, you could have the Book of Revelation.
Yeah, really. I think it's going to be Lion, Magic, Angel, Devil. It's going to be exciting, and we're gonna go all out in the Elite Eight. Entrance music. We're gonna paint pictures. We might even add 2 more voters. Maybe we'll go to 5. Don't you think that's a better idea?
Possibly.
We can have the guy who picks. We can have Twitter. We can have me, you, and maybe a third person. Oh, it's gonna be exciting. But you know what else is exciting, Tim?
Being on the Overtime Sports Network, Carl?
No, unlike you, I talk about that in the beginning of the podcast. Throne of Awesome.
The Throne of Awesome, Carl.
Throne of Awesome, we're doing top 4 until the end of May.
Uh-huh.
And our top 4 right now is Hollister, Harris, Radijak, Gannon. Because he took Rick out, did he earn himself a spot back in the 4 or no?
Rick, do you watch Family Guy?
I do.
Do you remember the episode when Stewie interviewed Brian and he said that there's no wrong answer? Well, I've got a question for you, Rick. Remember, there's no wrong answer. Was Bret the Hitman Hart's attack during his induction ceremony real, or was it more of WW something or other's drivel.
You're insulting him with this question.
That was real. That was very real.
Well, I feel like a jackass.
He legitimately got tackled by a random fan. Yeah, he was okay. He was okay. That fan was not, because when you jump in a wrestling ring, the boys have full authority to do whatever they want, and a couple guys got a couple shots on that guy as I was being escorted out. You don't jump in a ring. You don't jump a Hall of Famer. You don't jump a woman. His niece was in there. Natalia was in there, and she also took the brunt of his attack. So that guy got what he deserved.
Embarrassing.
The guy sounds like an asshole.
So where is Rick now? Where is he?
Rick?
Yes.
Dramatic pause.
Not good for podcast.
Yeah, you're in the top 4.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where?
Yes!
4.
Oh, weak.
You need to work on your Marv Albert impression.
Yes! So who's out?
You win, yes!
Is Gannon out?
No, Iraja is.
What the? Is
Yeah.
Gannon's 3?
Gannon's 3, Harris 2, Hollister 1.
We never know where Tim is on these, so
Tim
congrats.
isn't either.
So Hollister, Harris, Gannon, Mathews. Those are our top 4 right now.
Yeah.
Anything you want to plug? Rick?
No, I got nothing. Watch wrestling. Go watch some wrestling. You might like it.
Thank you for your analysis on the Sweet 16. I think you took it serious. I think we have a good Elite 8. From 123 to 8. It's getting exciting now.
It sure
This
is, Carl.
nonsense has to end. Anything you want to plug, Tim?
Take a look, children. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow.
So for our sidekick, Tim Anderson, and Rick Mathews, I'm Carl Coffey. We'll talk to you next time for episode 27 when we get to the Elite 8. See ya.